We've just learned that a second family is now mourning the loss of a loved one after a terrible crash, John.
Douglas County Sheriff's Office saying that the 17-year-old driver involved in this crash last Thursday at 204th and Harrison has died. He was Seth Fireherm of Omaha. Seth died in a 3-vehicle crash that killed an ambulance. We're told that an ambulance was involved in that and had lights and sirens running as it traveled through the intersection.
72-year-old Deborah Brookhauser, who was a patient in the ambulance, was pronounced dead at the scene. The sheriff's office expects more information to come out of its investigation at a later date. Meantime, a